G'day ladies and gents, welcome to War Thunder with Mags, and welcome to my first impressions of the LA9. Now the LA9 is an Era 4 battle rating 5.7 fighter, and it's the last piston-driven fighter in the LA line. The next aircraft following this is the LA-15 jet, and if you were lucky enough to unlock it in time, the LA-174. Now for match 1 of these first impressions, we're on Korea. Enemy team consists of premium Spitfires, Bearcat 1s, Mosquitoes, B-17s and P-51 Mustangs. I've taken my climb out to 13,000 feet and begun my initial engagement. Enemy aircraft were above me, climbing out to 15. The climb rate on the LA9 is a little slow. Its stock climb rate is 3,519 feet per minute. However, if you manage your energy well due to the retention on this aircraft, you can push 4,000 feet by sacrificing a little bit of speed, using a careful level out climb technique to try and maintain maximum airspeed at a higher climb rate. It does require a bit of work to do, but it's still not enough to match the climb rate of things like the premium Spitfire and the Bearcat. It will, however, allow you to get close enough to be able to engage safely. Now I've just fallen into the tail of a premium Spitfire. It's going after our LA-7, using the aircraft's incredible speed to be able to catch up. This thing is fast. Even stock it's fast. It'll outrun P-51 Mustangs in most situations. Now just lining up my shot. Nice clean kill. Now its maximum speed's listed at 656 kilometers an hour, however it can only reach that speed with a dive. Once it gets there, its retention is high enough that it can maintain that speed indefinitely in level flight. Sub 15,000 feet, you'll only maintain around 530 to 550 in level flight, which is still fast. While its maximum altitude is listed at 42,000 feet, I have found above 15,000 feet its performance is lacking. At least in comparison to the fighters that it faces, so I try and keep my fights at 15,000 or under. Now after killing that Spitfire, I found myself at an energy disadvantage to 3 other fighters, so I immediately drop it into a dive and pull out of the area. 2 minutes of flying before I re-engage, lining up on a P-51. Now with the aircraft's speed and energy retention, you would lean towards flying this thing as a boom and zoomer. I've found it best to fly it as a hybrid boom and zoom energy fighter. With a turn time of 23.8 seconds stock, it is manoeuvrable for an aircraft of its size and design. Its speed is great, its energy retention out of that speed is great, but its ability to gain energy rapidly is also extremely good. This leads to you being able to trade energy back and forth in maneuvers quite easily. It doesn't have the turn performance of most pure energy or turn fighters, but with careful usage of the controls you can make this aircraft work in that style. Flying as a hybrid also seems to be much better suited to the guns, which are the selling point for people that really go for the LA9. Now the LA9's armed with 4 23mm NS-23 cannons with 300 rounds of ammunition total. It's 75 rounds of ammunition a gun, and the fire rate is high. This thing will chew through its ammunition in seconds. Now I've just positioned myself in on this swarm below me. I'm trying to select through which target would be the most opportunistic to go for. However, I overbake the dive and start pushing out towards 780 kilometers an hour. It is worth noting with this aircraft, the wing rip speed is only listed at 760. Once you're beyond that point, any sharp maneuvers will break the wings straight off the plane. So with the dive aborted, I reline back up. One P-51 has vacated the area. I have an option between a P-51 and a premium Spitfire. I decide the premium Spitfire is the more dangerous target of the two. A manoeuvrability fighter, it's something I'd rather not be facing. At least the P-51 has a similar flight style. However, it pulls up slightly too sharply, wasn't able to get the guns on target. Don't bother trying to turn with it, roll straight out, move to engage the P-51. However, it's turned around and coming back with me, so roll underneath, change direction. Just boom past and zoom away. I need more altitude and more speed. I'll turn back on them in a moment. Now back to the guns. With only 75 rounds of ammunition per gun and such a high fire rate, this plane is only good to 4 to 5 good bursts before you're out of ammunition, so conservative firing is a must. Just rolling the plane to dodge the oncoming spray. Split S, and use the airspeed I gained to outrun this P-51 and re-engage the swarm. Again, I have the option of a Spitfire or a P-51. I take a couple of good bursts at the Spitfire, No love. The shots were too high, I wasn't giving enough down angle, but I didn't want to push myself in front of the Spitfire's guns either. Take hits from behind. Now, this is where the level's flight speed comes in. Keep in mind this LA9 is dead stock. I will clear over the top of these mountains, just keep the WEP on. I'm still caning energy out of that last dive. I'm maintaining around 550 kilometers an hour. The energy gain is so high that just by nosing down as I'm going back and forth over these hills, I'm able to push it out towards 570. And even brake and maintain 600. So the energy gain, as you can see, is very good, and it allows you to, with very small maneuvers, to easily outrun aircraft that are on your tail. This is one of the things I really like about the LA9. It's one of those planes that has options. If everything goes wrong, it can get out of a fight and disengage, and there's very few aircraft in your comparable battle rating that will be able to stop it. Now, I said before the guns are well suited to a hybrid energy fighting boom and zoom style of fight. This is largely in regards to the spread. Why they have an incredible burst mass of 7.9 kilograms per second, the guns themselves have an extremely wide spray arc. We're looking at around 30 feet stock. This means getting very close to your target before you pull the trigger is optimal for effective shooting. The gun upgrades on this will reduce the spread by 13 feet, but you're still looking at around a 17-foot spread, which is hardly laser accurate. So I've made my turn back into the fight. D30 goes head on, put a good clip into its wing, roll over the top of the second fighter, bring it around ready to engage. Going into energy fighting mode now. Bringing the nose back around to face, just snap rolling the plane to avoid shots from a third target coming in and trying to maneuver in on this D5. We are running low. They have more planes than we do at the moment. I'm trying to save this LA7, but I wasn't fast enough. I do, however, avenge it. Bring the nose back around again. The D30 is coming back in. Just dip the nose down to pull into the crevice of the hills. Back to level flight. I need more airspeed. Dip the nose down and push it straight up past 450 kilometers an hour. D30 has already made its turn. Pull high, here he comes. Combat flaps on. Stand on the elevators to bring the nose around fast. Line up a snapshot at close range. Hit the right wing hard. Blow off all the control surfaces and cripple the wing, and down he goes. Third kill. Now at this point the fight is a 2-on-4 fight. We have 2 LA9s remaining, including myself. The enemy team consists of a Lancaster, a B-17, a Mosquito and a P-51. And due to battle damage, I'm going to have to put this thing down on the runway. The landing was simple enough. The damage to the plane was more paint damage than anything else. It was more for a reload of the guns. Mosquito did move in to attempt to strafe out the runway, but he never got within 6 kilometers. The Allied LA9 shot him down. So that brought it down to 3, and the remaining enemy fighter was a Spitfire, not a P-51, my apologies. And Spitfires are a bit of a bane for this aircraft. They have similar amounts of energy retention, and while they do not have the speed capabilities of the LA9, their manoeuvrability more than makes up for it. Once the fight goes into close range, the Spitfire is still at an advantage. So the Spitfire's above at the moment. I'm just trying to get airspeed up, and I'm going to try and burst climb underneath him, lift the nose, put this LA9's energy retention to work. Unfortunately, I could have ended this shot right here, but I hesitated on the guns for some reason and allowed the Spitfire time to notice me and manoeuvre out of the way. So loop back around, kill the throttles back so I don't overshoot, and LA9 and Spitfire go to head and take one another out. However, that brings the fight down to a 1 versus 2. My LA9 versus a B-17 and a Lancaster. Now, I have no idea where the Lancaster is. The last I saw of it, it was leaving our base after bombing it. It did escape the area. The B-17, however, has showed up a few moments ago bombing ground targets, so he was easy enough to locate. So it took a couple of minutes to track him down and catch up to him. He's en route to base, he's not far away, and I really do not want to be engaging a B-17 over the top of their own airfield, so I'm making my boom now before he gets there. The combination of the B-17's gunners plus the AAA plus the possibility that the Lancaster and its turrets could also be there, it's not something that I want to do. So I'm getting ready to one high-speed boom from behind. I want to pass below the B-17 and run away in front of it. So put in the first shots. Just ripple across the wings, damage to the tail, but no criticals unfortunately. I do take a hit from the 50 calibers, but I was expecting to. In the current state of the B-17's gunners, there's very little chance of being able to engage them without taking at least some damage yourself, but thankfully nothing hit the engine, and everything that did hit was, well, superficial at best. Now I'm gaining as much distance on him as I possibly can before I make my turn around. I want to head on this aircraft. This is the safest way to engage a B-17, but it is not entirely safe, as you're about to see. You have to always keep in mind that while attacking from the front exposes you to the smallest number of guns, there is still two 50 caliber machine guns mounted in a turret under the nose. So fire the shots into its face, I kill both the pilots, but its 50 calibers blow my engine out. And that was the end of the match for me. The Lancaster survives and wins it. So, results for the match. First place for the team with highest match score, 4 kills but shot down. Fighter Rescuer, Ground Forces Rescuer, Windstreak X2, Final Blow, Terror of the Sky and Bulletproof, 57,060 Silver Lions and 3,001 RP. And this is the match that finished my fuselage repair. This was around the 4th match I'd had in the aircraft, I believe. This is also the match that started getting me into the groove of the LA9, and I really started to enjoy the aircraft. So let's move on to the next match. So this round, we're on Berlin Alternate History, Russia versus the United States, and first target has presented itself, a B-17. Now after the licking I got from the last one, I want some revenge. Now I've climbed out to 10,000 feet and I'm hiding in a cloud bank. The B-17 will not see me engaging him until I make a manoeuvre on him. Beginning my dive down now. Again, I want to make a high speed pass. Just setting my angles. Now I'm honestly not sure what this B-17 was doing here. All the bases are out of the area, and on this map you cannot bomb out the runways. But whatever, I'll take it. I loop underneath. Now this time I'm going to try and approach from directly below and strike going up. Pull it into the vertical. Take aim. First shots go in. Then I make the mistake here. I roll out to level behind and put shots into the tail. His gunners work me over pretty hard, taking out my engine. However, in that pass, I did manage to take out his tail gunner and destroy his elevator, so he's lost elevation control of his B-17, and I don't really care that I lost the engine. I'm going to go after this guy without one. So just carefully trying to keep my airspeed up, letting him pass back and forth through my guns. As he noses down, he's basically dead at this point already, but I need the airspeed anyway. Take the lead, and blow the wings off it. He's down. Thankfully, my engine died right over the top of a runway, so I was able to safely glide it back. I had two options at this point. I could have gone for the runway directly below me, but I decided to move out of the combat zone and glide out to the far runway that I just took off from. Made it back to the runway with no problems at all. Nice soft landing, good control. This thing is very, very, very easy to glide and very easy to land without engine power, so this is all good. Time to get back into the fight. So a little over a minute later, and it didn't take me long to find a fighter. A P-51 was engaged with an LA-7. He's then had to duck out. An I-185, LA-7, even a Tu-2 is having a crack at him, and there's me and another LA-9 that are making moves on him as well. So he's about to have a very, very bad day. Just trying to get the airspeed up, and here's where you'll see the interception speed of the LA-9 at low altitudes. The WEP's up, 550 kilometers an hour. I can't dip and dive to get my speed any further here, but it's still more than enough to catch a P-51 at low altitude. Now while I'm trying to chase this guy down, there is one other problem with the LA-9's guns, and that is the stock ammunition belts. The LA-9's 23mm only get access to two shell types. One's an armor-piercing round, the second is a fragmentation incendiary round. Now I'm just starting to close into gun range here, however this fight's already over. He's been crippled and into the building he goes. Now as I was saying, the LA-9 stock ammunition belt is a full rack of armor-piercing shells with a single fragmentation incendiary round at the end of the line. This isn't a bad belt for engaging bombers. It will penetrate anything very easily. However, it is not particularly good for engaging fighters. You'll regularly score hits against enemy aircraft, but the planes will appear to take no damage. This is because the AP round is just penetrating the skin of the aircraft, punching straight through the other side and not taking out any critical componentry. Now Bearcat's manoeuvre to engage. Didn't see me coming, fire the shot, take out the plane in a single burst. Just complete blindside, second kill. keeping the throttles up, using my airspeed to try and pull back to altitude. I need to get this thing off the deck. There are enemy fighters in the area. Now, while the stock ammunition belt on the 23mm is not bad, it is worth trying to get that belt to unlock very early on. The air target belt in particular is primarily fragmentation incendiary rounds with a skimming of armor piercing through the mix. It's far more efficient at taking out enemy fighters. It is a little lackluster when working on bombers, especially things like the B-17. However, if you can hit the soft spots, the fuel tanks, the engines, they're far more reliable in killing the targets, setting them on fire and letting them burn. Now, the entire team, myself included, has been caught at a low altitude, low energy state by an F4U-1D and a Spitfire. Right now we're all jockeying for energy and trying to bait these guys into an energy trap. Now, you'll see me doing some maneuvers where I seem to be blowing off a lot of energy that I don't really have. What I'm trying to do is keep the enemy fighters in front of me. They cannot kill me if I'm behind them, regardless of energy state. They have to turn around and come back at me. Spitfire goes high. And looking like it's going to maneuver in, put it on a knife edge, stand on the elevators and turn hard. I want to duck in underneath it. It looks like it's aborted its manoeuvre and going back for altitude, so I'll take the opportunity with 350 kilometres up to put the nose up and try and get some altitude back. Again, it's putting the LA-9's energy retention to work. I can maintain over 300 and still put it at a decent climb angle. If the enemy are approaching in, even though they're so close, I can just dip the nose down and start gaining energy again. Now, my initial plan here was to try and burst climb sharply into this cloud bank and disappear. That would give me a chance to break out the other side, get energy and return on target. However, the Spitfire has taken interest. So wing over. Keep the weapon on to gain as much speed as I can and pull sharply underneath. And the F4U presents itself. I try and go vertical to get a shot into its belly from underneath. This was a horrible mistake that could have gotten me killed here. The Spitfire was still targeting me at the time. It turned around and I never saw it coming. I pushed the plane too much and missed my shots, go into a stall, bring the nose down, and there's the Spitfire. Just rippled shots straight into the airframe. Light damage to the entire airframe, moderate damage to the right wing, critical damage to the right aileron. So I'm holding this thing in a very sharp dive, trying to bust out past 600 kilometers an hour. Why the energy retention on the LA-9 is far higher than both aircraft behind, the F4U-1D is actually capable of diving at equivalent speeds and has an equivalent wing braking point. It was able to follow me almost the whole way down in that dive. However, it was about this point that he must have realised that he had made a mistake. Once we levelled out, his energy retention is nowhere near mine, and I simply pull away from him at over 600 kilometres an hour, and in diving after me, he put himself below the LA-7, allowing the LA-7 to get an energy advantage on the aircraft, and putting himself in a spot for an easy kill. The F4U killed himself trying to follow me. In turning away from the LA-7, he's turned into an I-185. Now he's being 2-upped, and it's just a matter of time now. Now, instead of returning to base with this damage, I decide to bring the plane back around and get some revenge on that Spitfire. Now, I'm counting on that Spitfire being target fixated with that LA-9 that it's engaged with at the moment. I'm keeping it low and fast. WEP is on full. I don't care about engine temperatures or anything else at the moment. I just need as much airspeed as I can. I'm going to pull up into an angle just underneath him and then burst climb up. Again, putting the energy retention of the LA-9 back to good use. I'm bleeding off speed faster than normal due to the damage, but it should be more than sufficient for my needs. 2 kilometres out, the Spitfire is engaged in a hard turning war. It's blown most of its energy, 1.5, just about into gun range. Just tracking it, firing the lead. Target eliminated. Third kill. And that was the end of the match. The only enemy aircraft remaining is Shoji, the AI. I immediately kill the engines and glide down for a landing on the runway right beneath me, and the I-185 tracks down Shoji and eliminates him. So let's go to the results. So the results for this match: first place for the team, and again highest match score, 3 kills, soft landing, win streak x2, terror of the sky and bulletproof. 74,580 silver lines and 3,742 research points. And this and the match previous got me halfway through the radiator. So the LA-9, what do I think of the aircraft? Well, I quite like it. It's fast, it's manoeuvrable, it always seems to have an option available to it in any given combat situation. The guns are devastating, but you do need to get close to use them effectively. The ammunition levels on the guns are a little low and the fire rate is high, so trigger discipline when shooting is a definite requirement in order to make the machine work, and it will take a little bit of practice to get you used to the handling characteristics. The best way I can describe the aircraft would be crossing a D-13 Dora with a P-51, and that's the sort of handling characteristics you've got, except faster than both. And everything you've seen in these two matches was with a stock aircraft. The first match was completely stock. The second match I had the fuselage repair. That's it. No other modifications to the aircraft for these two. So I am very, very, very interested in finding out what this plane flies like with a full deck of upgrades. I think it'll be a force to be reckoned with. Anyways, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed this video. Click like if you do, subscribe if you want to see more. Fly smart, fly safe, and I'll catch you in the skies.